Hello, this is Bruce Wayne. I ran into an article by the good folks at Chicago Tribune, and they wrote this article. The title of the article was "The Horrible Truth About Kenneka Jenkins' Death. Alcohol was the culprit." As you can see here, Daleen Glanton, contact reporter, October 17th, 5 a.m. The social media frenzy over Kenneka Jenkins' death has ended. Amateur sleuths are no longer posting videotaped conspiracies about how the 19-year-old's body ended up in a freezer in a deserted area of the Crown Plaza O'Hare Hotel. Strangers are no longer blaming Kenneka's girlfriends for selling her for $200 during a party in a room on the 9th floor. No one is pointing fingers of suspicion at the young men who attended the party. No one is accusing the police and the hotel of conspiring to cover up a murder. We know now that Kenneka died of hypothermia, the result of a horrific alcohol-related accident. But what we have learned from this tragic episode, keyword episode, this is season 5, ladies and gentlemen, that kept us on edge for weeks. Most of the young people who made it their mission on Facebook and Twitter a month ago to get the truth behind Kenneka's death have moved on with their lives. No one is talking about the real culprit that has now been revealed: underage drinking. Here are the facts. Kenneka was at a party at the hotel where liquor was available. She was too young to purchase the liquor herself, and she was too young to legally consume it. Someone broke the law by providing it to her. At this point, it serves no purpose to blame the victim. In another time and place, almost any teenager could have met the same fate. Alcohol led to Kenneka's death, as it does with some 5,000 other young people each year. According to the National Institute of Health, alcohol is the most widely used substance of abuse among American youth. Of the deaths attributed to alcohol, about 1,900 are from motor vehicle crashes, 1,600 as a result of homicides, and 300 from suicide, as well as hundreds of other injuries such as falls, burns, and drowning, the NIH said. Though the numbers have declined since 2002, the statistics remain startling. In 2015, 7.7 million people in the age of 12 to 20 age group reported that they drank alcohol beyond just a few sips. In the past month, according to the National Survey of Drug Use and Health, documents released last week by Rosemont Police showed that Kenneka had drunk heavily at the party before she wandered away from the hallway and ended up in an unused kitchen on another floor. Her friends told police they saw Kenneka drink cognac. The Cook County Medical Examiner office said that her blood alcohol content was 0.112, above the legal limit for driving. Authorities said no illegal drugs were found in her system, though toxicology report tests revealed a drug used for treating epilepsy and migraines, which contributed significantly to her death. Surveillance cameras show Kenneka getting off an elevator, staggering alone down the hallway, and then stumbling into a deserted kitchen. It's troubling to watch. It was easier to believe that someone had accosted her in the kitchen and tossed her into a freezer. We did not want to accept that beautiful young woman with so much life yet ahead of her could have stumbled into the cooler and opened the door and walked into the freezer herself. It seemed inconceivable that the freezer door would then slam shut on its own, and that Kenneka was so impaired that she could not push the white circular handle inside the release of the latch. But according to authorities, that is exactly what happened. After about 24 hours, a hotel worker found her lying face down on her side, wearing only one shoe. One shoe. Whew. Goodness. If there is a spark of hope in this tragedy, is it that Kenneka's friends apparently realized that she was too drunk to drive home that night, that they had left her in a hallway for about 15 minutes while they returned to the hotel to retrieve her phone and keys. It seems clear that they had no intentions of allowing Kenneka behind the wheel of her car she had borrowed from her mother. Some would argue that Kenneka was a young adult, able to make her own decisions, because that's her prerogative. Okay, I'm kidding. Parents might wonder how it is possible to control the actions of a 19-year-old. Indeed, it is not easy, but according to NIH, there are several ways parents can intervene to make sure young people don't drink before they reach 21. Talking openly with teenagers about... I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm having technical difficulties here. Talking openly with teenagers about drinking is first and foremost. Conversations should begin much earlier and take place often. Even as they grow older, it is still imperative to know who their friends are. If there is a party, parents must make a point to know it will be supervised and whether alcohol will be available. As if a young person chooses to drink, it is up to them to do it responsibly. That means no binge drinking, recognizing their own alcohol limits, and appointing a designated driver. These are valuable lessons to be learned from Kenneka's death. The most important one, though, is that it did not have to happen. This should serve as a wake-up call for adults, too. Have we seen young people drinking beer in the park and intoxicated at an outdoor festival and said nothing? There were people at the hotel, employees and guests, who likely saw Kenneka in an impaired state that night at 3:20 a.m. Saturday. That is seen on a surveillance video. Staggering. Staggering. Staggering without falling, but staggering. Staggering without sitting down, but staggering. Drunk near the front desk. Hilarious. Let's continue. Yet no one notified the police. It is understandable that we would be reluctant to report a young person for making what might have been or seem like a harmless mistake. But if someone had taken it seriously, perhaps Kenneka would still be alive. I think we all should leave an email at dglanton@chicagotribune.com. We should all tweet her at DAHLEENG. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Bruce Wayne. And those good old folks at the Chicago Tribune have done it again. Check it in. Check it out.